What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crypto Sherpa Show, where I cover the latest cryptocurrency news articles to keep you informed on what is going on. And what's happening is Bitcoin's going to zero. That search in Google has peaked this month. Google Trends saw global interest in Bitcoin going to zero hit a peak score of 100 on February 13th. Ooh, that was on a Friday the 13th. Very unlucky. But the spike comes with Bitcoin trading roughly 50% below its all-time high amid rising economic and geopolitical concern. And that's right, Bitcoin is about 50% done. We're at 66,100. Let's look at the year chart because that's when we were at our peak. Around like 126,000 was the peak for Bitcoin's price. So, but again, like when we get these news articles though, or we get like certain search results happening, that's usually like key things to look out for how people are feeling. Because like when we hear that the retail people really, because these are the ones who are doing all the searches on it, who are skeptical, they're looking it up, is Bitcoin really dead? You know who's that's a signal for? The elites, the big guys, the guys who actually understand Bitcoin. It's like, or really, no, not the ones who understand Bitcoin are acquiring all the time. We're always buying them out of the price. But the big guys, like the elites out there, the big governments, like they see these like signs, they go, oh, they know this is the time to buy because this is like the turning point. Sure. Yeah, we can still go down to like what we're looking at for where you have like $58,000 as your 200-week moving average. So we still have we got room to grow, right, or to fall down further. And then it can still dip a little bit. But they're going to start acquiring it now based off of this news. And then hopefully, not that one. Hopefully by like summertime, or maybe I'm hoping like the halfway of the year part, we start seeing it downwards. I'm hoping that's the true bottom. And then we start making our way back up, new all-time highs. How fast is that going to happen? I don't know. Is it going to be that year? Is it going to be until the next halvening? No one has a crystal ball of future, but these are the turning point signs right there. So is Bitcoin going zero? Is it dead? Me personally, no, it is not. I know it's not. This is just part of Bitcoin's cycle. We've seen this so many times. Like, wait, let me look that up. I'm going to go to Grok. Like, how many times have the news declared Bitcoin dead? Let's see. So how many times in Bitcoin's history has the news, the mainstream media, declared Bitcoin has been dead? Let's see. CryptoSlate and others list 477 times as of mid-February 2026. So makes me think, so is 478 going to be the time Bitcoin's actually dead? Or it's just all noise? That's all it is to me. So they're just people like scaring out the market. And again, it's just weak hands going to stronger hands. People can't handle it, will get out, but eventually it's just going to hit them like a brick wall. Like it's like the adoption is going to happen so fast. Like people are like barely even noticing it. By nine, next thing you know, it's going to be right there. Boom. It's like, wait a minute, when am I seeing I can accept Bitcoin like here at the register? Like where everywhere they go, it's going to happen. And I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so Bitcoin's not dead, guys, but the search is at an all-time peak. And this could be a good opportunity to start nibbling back into a dollar cost average if you were waiting for a certain moment. But that's a great way to start the show. But what else happened? I remember last week, a hacker stole $21 million worth of Bitcoin from a South Korea police station. And looks like they recovered that $21 million in Bitcoin after the blocking exchange transactions linked to the stolen funds. Now, the hacker's identity remains unknown. And I did go through that article, and the police are still looking after him. They want to know who did it, and they will give him his sentence for stealing that money. So this guy's going to try to stay as hidden as possible, but he returned the money, so I guess that's good, but he's still on hot alert, and if you know him and you want to turn him, and go for it, but hey, at least he returned the money, right? So yeah, we got some closure on this-ish. Like maybe we will get an article where they did find out who the unknown identitor is, but let's, if that ever comes around. But that's about it for the Twitter news. Let's hit up what's going on with I was about to say Wall Street, but that's where this article came from. But finance giants and regulators gather at Mar-a-Lago for a World Liberty Forum. So yeah, so at Mar-a-Lago last night, just over the pond from here in Florida, I'm in Sarasota. So just on the other side, Mar-a-Lago hosted an event with a lot of financial giants. I think we heard that like, who was it? The longtime person admits that he has some crypto. I'm sure this article is going to cover it. But what did they discuss out there? Let's find out. So Wall Street executives, regulators, and government officials gathered at Mar-a-Lago for a cryptocurrency conference hosted by World Liberty Financial, a digital asset platform backed by the Trump family. Now, the day-long gathering brought together around 500 participants from across finance, crypto, and government. Now, attendees included Goldman Sachs chief executive David Solomon. That's who it was. Goldman Sachs, like he has some Bitcoin, little. And then we also had Binance co-founder Changpeng Zhao, CZ was there, NASDAQ chief executive Adina Friedman, the New York Stock Exchange Group president Lynn Martin, and several current and former financial regulators. Now, the conference showed a major change in sentiment among traditional financial institutions that previously criticized digital assets. Now, Wall Street leaders who once dismissed crypto as speculative are now seeking more exposure. Now, the Trump family's crypto venture expands rapidly. World Liberty Financial, co-founded by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, has become a key component of the Trump family's expanding business interests in digital finance. Now, the company's growth has contributed significantly to the family's rising wealth, which has increased by more than $1 billion from the new crypto ventures, according to Bloomberg Billionaire Index. Now, a major focus of the firm's strategy is its USD1 stablecoin, a digital asset designed to maintain a one-to-one value with the US dollar. Now, the token has more than $5 billion in circulation right now, making it one of the largest stablecoins globally. Now, the company has also applied for a bank charter and announced plans for a lending platform. Executives have described the token as an upgrade version of the US dollar designed for a digital financial system. Now, interestingly, an investment vehicle linked to Abu Dhabi National Security Advisor Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan purchased a 49% stake in World Liberty Finance for $500 million in early 2025. Now, Wall Street reconsiders its crypto strategy. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon, who previously described crypto as a speculative investment with limited practical use, disclosed that he now owns a small amount of Bitcoin. So even the people out there who disclaimed it back in the day, wait, can someone not hear me? Am I muted on my show? Hold on. Let me see. Let me check. Audio, Black Magic. It says it's good on my end, Randy. Is that probably on your side? I can't be there. Oh, wait, never mind. Sorry. I thought you were watching the show, Randy. He's saying, I can't be there. I thought you said, I can't hear you. So, my bad, guys. But yeah, so the guys who, coming back to this article, and people who didn't talk about Bitcoin really, or wasn't into it, thought it was too speculative, now they're in it because they do see it's a small amount, but they understand it. So a lot more people, it's a slow process, but it's happening. Now, financial firms are increasingly exploring its opportunities tied to digital assets, including crypto listing and blockchain-based financial services. Now, industry leaders at the conference discussed collaboration between traditional finance and decentralized finance, often referred to as TradeFi and DeFi, as a potential driver of the future market development. Now, asset managers and hedge fund executives attended the event, discussing how established institutions could integrate blockchain infrastructure into existing financial systems, while also maintaining their competitive position in global markets. Now, the government officials were also present at the gathering, including leaders connected to agencies responsible for overseeing digital asset markets. Now, the Trump family has argued that its crypto initiatives aim to modernize financial infrastructure and provide an alternative to the traditional banking system. And that is what Bitcoin is. It's an alternative to the traditional system. It's a way to, and it's a better way too, because it's a currency that is not pegged or tied to just a single entity out there who can make changes or print more of it. It's all just run on code. It's run by thousands of people out there. So Trump's kind of doing like the same thing, it seems like, with what he said at the end of there. But that's what happened yesterday. So I think the biggest thing is we found out that the Goldman Sachs guy now holds Bitcoin. And I think the Trump boys were on like a CNBC report and they talked about, they made their prediction on Bitcoin going to 1 million. And yeah, I believe that too. It's going to be here one of the days, even 10 million. Like, it's going to happen. Like this year? No, it's not. But down the road, yes, I really do see it happening. And that could be a couple of years now. So like, it's how Michael Saylor always says it too. When people complain about like the price going down, it's dipping. Like in 10 years, this dip will not even matter for where Bitcoin's price will be at. So, what else is going on with the White House? Looks like we're going to be getting a third critical meeting to be held there. The first two didn't respond any really good results that Trump wanted because nothing got done. So we're still having meetings discussing the Clarity Act and what's going on there. So banks do not want the other guys to have yield, just them. And so I think this third one's really now going to be talking about Like, can stablecoins even produce yield? Yes or no? So let's go through this article and hear what they're going to be discussing. So representatives from the crypto and banking sectors are meeting for the third time to resolve the dispute over stablecoin yields. Now, a stablecoin meeting held at the White House in early February, attended by prominent figures from the cryptocurrency and banking sectors, ended without conclusion. Now, following this, representatives from the crypto and banking sectors will meet for a third time to find a solution. According to U.S. cryptocurrency journalist Eleanor Terrett, representatives from the crypto and banking sectors are meeting for a third time at the White House today to resolve their long-standing disagreement over stablecoin regulation. Now, in the first two meetings, the parties failed to reach an agreement on stablecoin yields, and the banking sector's unwillingness to compromise on stablecoin interest rates and its insistence on a complete ban on stablecoin yields brought the negotiations to a standstill. Conversely, they argued that imposing interest/yield restrictions on stablecoins could stifle innovation and weaken competition in the crypto space. Now, Terrett stated that the third meeting would also focus on the debate over whether stablecoins should be given interest or yield, and that a small number of officials from the crypto and banking sectors would attend. Now, Terrett also stated that Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal, Ripple Chief Legal Officer Stuart Aldoarty, and A16Z partner Miles Jennings and other banking and cryptocurrency trading representatives attended the White House meeting. Now, these meetings, the third of which will be held today, are directly related to the critical cryptocurrency market bill, the Clarity Act, which is stalled in the U.S. Senate, and the bill is unable to progress due to just disagreement over the stablecoin yield. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they come to. I'm sure I'll get news later today, and I'll report on it tomorrow for what they discuss. Are they finally coming to a conclusion, or we'll see? There's a lot of bets on Polymarket out there saying, like, is it 90% of people saying that the Clarity Act will pass in April? I'm not sure. Let me look that up. Let's see. Is it Kalshi or Polymarket? Let's do Kalshi. Kalshi or Polymarket. Let's see. I'm looking this up on Twitter. Kalshi or Polymarket Clarity Act. Let's see. What's the percentage? I know I've been seeing some tweets out there. So let's see. Man just wrote. Let's go for the latest. Let's see. Clarity Act signed. Oh, so yeah, this was a minute ago. Clarity Act signed into law in 20. This is a different one, but signed into law by 2026. So we still have 10 months to go. There's a 62% chance that it will happen. Let's see. So yes, 62 cents, or no, 38 cents. I wonder what you can win with that kind of a bet. Let's see. Was there any other numbers out there? Clarity Act signed into law in 2026. This was 11 minutes ago, 72% act. So those polls are consistently changing. This one was at 90% at one point. So yeah, so those prediction markets are pretty crazy out there. But that's what's going on with the White House right now. So we had the meeting at Mar-a-Lago, and then now we have a third meeting just to see where we're going. Now, let's move over to Bitcoin Magazine and talk about Cash App, how they now offer best Bitcoin pricing and higher withdrawals for users. So if you're looking for a place to have a fiat on-ramp tool, if you're looking at Coinbase, Cash App, Uphold, Binance, always stick to the big guys if you're going to sign up for an exchange platform. Maybe this might be on your radar now if you're just buying Bitcoin alone. So Miles Sutter, Cash App now offers best Bitcoin pricing and higher withdrawals for users. So Cash App, the popular digital wallet and payments app, announced a series of changes to its Bitcoin offerings, including a massive increase in withdrawal limits, lower fees, new funding rails, and lots more in an exclusive interview with Miles Sutter, the product lead at Block Inc. Now, he said, "Our mission is to make living on Bitcoin simple and practical," Sutter told Bitcoin Magazine. The company, which today serves over 58 million active users, recently announced a deep set of upgrades to the app, further integrating Bitcoin into the user experience, while improving quality of life for Bitcoiners on the app and unlocking further functionality. Now, the most awaited and noteworthy update is likely the expansion of the withdrawal limits, which were raised to $10,000 a day from $2,000. And then $25,000 a week from the $5,000 for eligible customers. Now, this update was rolled out by default to the vast majority of users who should have access to it now. Sutter also mentioned that those who do not see the withdrawal limit expansion can reach out to him for support for further review of the eligibility. However, a lot more changed under the hood. Fees and clearing prices also improved with no spreads. On pricing, according to Sutter, one of the many user experience updates that may lead to the charge across the industry in terms of interface design. Now, spreads are gaps in the price of an asset like Bitcoin, so depending on whether you are buying or selling, usually they are the result of order books that match buyers and sellers on a list sorted by exchange rates. Now, a small spread between the most anyone is willing to pay for some Bitcoin and the least anyone is willing to accept for theirs is normally in the most exchanges. But it can also be confusing and appear like inconsistent pricing. So many exchanges hide a small commission in the spread as they look for low friction profits. Now, Cash App appears to be eliminating this from the user experience, in turn, giving users a single price point for both sides of the market. Now, this pricing update alongside the 0% fees might make Cash App the most cost effective way to buy and sell Bitcoin within the United States. Now, Sutter goes as far as to say Cash App now has the best pricing in the world for purchasing over $2,000. And yeah, so the Cash App market's also the normal side. Here's the cash flow. So if you have it on auto buy, at any limit of how much ever you're buying is 0%. So no fees on that, not bad. But that's only if it's on auto buy. But if you're doing just a normal single market sell buy, if you're doing $1 to $500, it's 2%. If you're doing $500 to $1,000, it's 1.5%. $1,000 to $2,000, 0.9. But yeah, if you're buying over $2,000, 0% as well. So that is better than competitors, which are usually, again, 1% to 2.5%. I always thought it was like more like 3%, but more of those are just averages going on. But the funding rails and stablecoins. Funding rails also got an expansion in this update. Historically, Cash App was built to work with debit cards, a strategy that likely unlocked fast retail adoption, but came with various funding limits. Now, Sutter was excited to share that new funding rails have been added to Cash App, including ACH, which unlocks deposits as high as $10,000, and also integrates wires for large purchases. Now, as such, this is more than a quality of life upgrade for Bitcoiners inside Cash App. It is a historic milestone for the company, which has been servicing retail and small to medium merchants since 2013. Now, when asked about Cash App's relationship with banks, an area of the Bitcoin industry that the many companies and users still struggle with, even during the friendly Trump administration, Sutter said that users should have no issue sending and withdrawing from Cash App to US banks. Sutter explained that the banks are very conservative and hyper-focused on preventing fraud, an understandable business choice for them, but one that highlights the brittle nature of our current system, where everything is permissioned, and a clear example of why we believe having zero intermediaries in Bitcoin is very important. Now, putting a finger point on the topic of funding rails, Sutter also expressed interest in stablecoin integration. Though no timelines were given on the release date of this particular feature, he was also very clear about how stablecoins would be integrated into the app, and that users would not be exposed to a myriad of choices in terms of blockchains or ticker name denominations. Instead, all values would just be presented as dollars, and all major stablecoin blockchains would be supported in the background. Now, this implies that fees paid in blockchain's native tokens will not be shown to users, removing a long-standing pain point that the broader industry has failed to address, including in the stablecoin integration discussion that was mentioned of dollars on top of Bitcoin Lightning Network, though no details were discussed. Now, Cash App's 2026 roadmap. So looking ahead for the years ahead, as we enter 2026 at full speed, Sutter expressed a clear vision to further integrate Bitcoin into Cash App, making it available in seamless ways to its large user base. Now, we want Bitcoin to be a foundational currency within Cash App, so you can live your life on Bitcoin. So in order to achieve that, Cash App is laying the groundwork to make not just accepting Bitcoin, but paying with Bitcoin completely automated. That means any store using Square payment terminals should be able to accept Bitcoin via Lightning payments using the same QR code and payment flow as with fiat. Now, while any Cash App user should be able to pay Lightning invoices by scanning QR codes, even if they don't have a Bitcoin on their account. That's right, automated conversion of USD to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to USD at checkout, so that everyone can pay how they want and receive the currency they choose. In Sutter's words, we want all customers and users to be able to receive and send Bitcoin without needs to know about it or hold it. Now, this approach solves a few friction points that have held back the payments use case of Bitcoin since its inception. On the other hand, if users are not holding Bitcoin when they spend, there's no tax event. Cash App does the conversion on behalf of the merchant, so the sender has no Bitcoin sell tax event. And Sutter did not go into details, but mentioned this particular issue as an important piece of the puzzle, saying that Block Inc. will pay the Lightning invoice on your behalf, so no tax liability no price fluctuation. That is pretty cool. Now, on the other hand, merchants who choose to accept Bitcoin as payments are likely to get it more often, as anyone using Cash App will effectively have it to pay with. If a merchant, for example, decides to only accept Bitcoin as payment, all Cash App users will be able to purchase from them, even if they don't have Bitcoin on their account. Merchants may also give their discounts on purchases of Bitcoin, something customers will be able to benefit from by using Cash App without having to hold any Bitcoin. Now, this whole design may introduce millions of Americans to Bitcoin who otherwise are not really familiar with it. Now, there's moms out there who have never used Bitcoin, Sutter noted, and I want to make it so every Cash App user has a Lightning URL that matches their Cash App username. Now, on the activity Bitcoiner side of the market, Sutter commented briefly on the growing market for Bitcoin-backed loans, saying that the company is actively exploring and engaging customers online on the use case and that customers want it. The company is exploring various ways of offering Bitcoin collateralized loans, including perhaps a line of credit. Through detail remains scarce, Sutter highlighted that this use case as an important financial tool for Bitcoiners to live on Bitcoin, thus aligning with the company's vision. While no more was said on the topic, Sutter did casually add that an announcement was coming for Bitcoin Vegas in May. So, what do they have planned for rolling out for Bitcoin Vegas this year? Interesting. And who knows, maybe they're already ready with their lending platform. You never know, right? But again, everyone's like kind of getting on board with that the loans for your crypto collateral, I think, but for Cash App, that one's just Bitcoin. In our next article, we're going to be talking about Coinbase is adding support for that feature. And it's going to be support with XRP, Dodge, ADA, LTC that people can use as collateral via their Morpho. So let's go through this article to hear about this new addition. So Coinbase has expanded its crypto-backed lending service to include XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, and Litecoin, allowing eligible users to borrow against more assets without selling their holdings. Now, the company announced the update on February 18th, saying that U.S. customers, excluding those in New York, can now borrow up to $100,000 in USDC by pledging the 4 tokens as collateral. Now, the service is available through Coinbase's website and mobile app. Now, the move builds on Coinbase's existing lending program, which already supports Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. Now, how the expanded lending features work: under the program, users can lock up their crypto and receive USDC almost instantly. Now, the loans do not have fixed repayment schedules and can be paid back at any time, as long as the position remains healthy. Now, the new assets come with lower borrowing limits than Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP, Dodge, ADA, and LTC loans are capped at $100,000, while Bitcoin-backed loans can reach up to $5 million, and Ethereum-backed loans can reach $1 million. Now, stricter risk controls are applied by the platform to the recently added tokens. These assets have a maximum loan-to-value ratio of 49%, and a 62.5% liquidation is initiated. Now, this reflects how volatile their prices are in comparison to those of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, interest rates will fluctuate based on the state of the market. A one-time borrowing fee is added to the loan balance, and funds cannot be used for trading on Coinbase. Now, Coinbase said Morpho powers the service and runs on Base, its layer 2 blockchain network. Collateral is moved on-chain and managed through decentralized lending pools, while users interact through Coinbase's interface. Now, the demand for crypto-backed borrowing has grown. Crypto-backed loans have become popular among investors who want to access funds without having to sell assets and incur taxable events. With ADA, LTC, Dodge, and XRP's combined market value of around $120 billion at the time of this announcement, Coinbase has access to a substantial pool of potential borrowers. Now, before this expansion, the company has reported that over $1.9 billion in loans had been originated through the platform, indicating consistent demand for the product. Now, supporters say that the service gives users flexibility to cover expenses, manage cash flow, or invest elsewhere while keeping long-term positions intact. Now, critics, on the other hand, caution that price fluctuations, particularly in volatile markets, can swiftly result in liquidations. According to Coinbase, borrowers run the risk of losing collateral if values drop significantly, and loan terms differ depending on the location of the state of the market. Now, the company also said it does not provide tax or investment advice. So with the addition of 4 major altcoins, Coinbase is positioning itself lending service as an alternative to both traditional credit products and decentralized lending platforms. So yeah, even Coinbase in this article is pointing out that investors want the ability to bar against it. So it makes sense that Cash App was talking about adding that feature later on. No specific dates or anything to come with it, but it is on the horizon. So yeah, so Coinbase added some new features to their barring, and yeah, if you want to do it and take the chance or that risk, do it. But it's all about timing too. You never really want to do it at the peak or the start of not the peak, the start of a bear trend, like which was in October. Because as the price goes down, like you're responsible to add to that loan. Otherwise, they liquidate everything, and so you're just stuck with what you borrowed, or did they take that too? I forget. But no, so like you always want to time it well. You want to know your risk tolerance level for what you can handle, and just think of it realistically. So like if Bitcoin's gets down to like 45,000, that may be a time to borrow against the asset because the price of the coin will start going up over time at that point, usually. And so it's all about timing when you would do this. But there's a lot of investors that want this ability, and we're going to see more exchanges on the platform slowly but surely start offering it to them. Now, lastly, in the news today, CME Group to launch a 24/7 Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana futures trading on May 29th. So let's hear about this. I believe they've been talking about this for some time. So CME Group, the world's largest derivatives exchange, has announced plans to launch a 24/7 crypto futures and options trading. This comes as institutional demand for crypto increase, and the move is significant because it would end the CME gap, which typically occur over the weekend when traditional markets are closed. Now, the CME Group to launch a 24/7 crypto futures and options trading. According to a press release, the derivatives exchange will launch regulated 24/7 crypto futures and options markets starting on May 29th, pending regulatory review. Now, the exchange stated that its crypto futures and options will trade continuously on the CME Globex with at least a 2-hour weekly maintenance period over the weekend. Furthermore, all holidays or weekend trading from Friday evening through Sunday evening will have a trade date of the following business day. Meanwhile, the CME Group stated that clearing, settlement, and regulatory reporting will be processed on the following business day. Now, this development comes months after the exchange's first revealed plans to launch a 24/7 crypto futures trading amid rising institutional demand. It is worth noting that the exchange currently offers futures and options on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Now, as CoinGate reported, the CME Group also recently launched ADA, Link, and XLM futures earlier this month, and plans to launch a 24/7 futures and options trading mean that institutional investors will soon be able to trade these crypto assets around the clock. Now, client demand for risk management in crypto is at an all-time high. Now, CME's Group Global Head of Equities, FX, and Alternative Products, Tim McCourt, noted that client demand for risk management in the crypto market is at an all-time high. He further remarked that this drove a record $3 trillion in notional volume across their crypto futures and options last year. Now, McCourt added that providing 24/7 access to their regulated, transparent crypto products ensures that their clients can manage their exposure and trade with confidence at any time. Meanwhile, the exchange also highlighted how its crypto futures and options markets continue to reach record volumes this year, despite the current downtrend for crypto prices. Now, the year-to-date highlights include average daily volume of 407,200 contracts, representing a 46% increase year over year. Average daily open interest is 335,400 contracts, and that's up 7% year over year. And the futures, the ADV is 403,900, up 47%. So the market commenter Sean Edmondson describes CME Group's plans to launch 24/7 crypto futures trading as a huge advancement, and he noted that this should stop the gaps that form on the weekend trades. So what is he saying? Is this going to make our crypto less volatile? Is it going to look like our daily chart like we saw today? Or was it this one? I think it was at the weekly when I'm looking at Bitcoin. Like it was kind of heavy. So we're the weekly charts. I'm not sure what he's saying out there, but yeah. So CME Group is going to be launching 24/7 crypto trading. So that's pretty good. I'm not going to use it because I use the DeFi side and I don't use those platforms. But hey, like it's going to introduce this crypto world to a lot of people in that side of the space who don't want to bother with Coinbase, Binance. They like sticking to their traditional system. So introducing like crypto may lead them into like where we are at today. So Yeah, so that's it for the news, guys. Happy Thursday. Thirsty Thursdays. What are you guys going to be doing today? Today, I have to do a class on going over CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko with Steve Blanco in Nashville. So we're going to show our members how to do just how to use this, what you can use it for, check out the news, uh, compare prices and whatnot. So that's going to be a fun class. Then we also have our crypto meetup tonight at 6 o'clock, and we're just going to hang out, socialize, and have a good old dandy time. So I hope everyone has an awesome day today, and I will see you tomorrow with some more crypto news. Take care, everybody.